Previously on the LCS.
This is going to be a through the front door base race. Oh my God! He win the game by going in through the front door over 80 minutes. Shackle coming out from Aframu. He gets the lockdown before he goes down. That's the crowd control they needed to follow through with the fight. Bastion Zero perfectly played for their area of effect. Lemon Nation gets 100 health hook to keep himself alive as well. LMQ's gonna have a win against every team in the league under 26 minutes, 21-5. Victory, LMQ over Dignitas.
Welcome, one and all, to the North American LCS Summer Split. We're beaming out to you live from our studio home in Los Angeles with more league action. And if yesterday's any indication, viewers should expect the unexpected. Hello, I'm James Dash Patterson, and joining me at the analyst desk is Sam Kobe Hartman-Kensler and Mr. David Freak Turley. How you guys doing today?
I got a Mr. in front of my name. That's awesome. Now I'm doing great. Way better than moving up in the world, Freak.
Woo!
I got a title.
Of course, Riv and Jat will join us shortly to get us into our first match. But before that, let's start with the obvious. Longest game ever. Now, Kobe, you were casting that game with Riv. What are your lasting impressions of that marathon win by Complexity?
Well, first thing I would say is anybody playing against Complexity, you probably want to upgrade your Madrid Razor before you get 30 stacks, just on the off chance that you end up in an 80-minute game where it would be useful.
For me, I like that in the pregame, Robert X. Lee was telling Curse that it was either you guys win in 20 minutes or we win in 60. Thankfully, they put the two together. 20 plus 60 equals 80, and everyone wins when a game goes that long.
What a prediction.
Basic math, just so strong here.
All right, for a little perspective, though, on how long and how historic that battle was, let's pull up some numbers. It was the longest game, clocking in at 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 37 seconds. And in that time, Robert X. Lee established a couple records of his own, getting the most CS in a single game with 719, and the most gold by a single player with just shy of 32,000. Now, Complexity as a whole raked in the most gold by a team with 129.5 thousand. However, not to be outdone, Quas broke his own record for most CS by a top laner with 691, and he did that without dying.
Well, as long as we're throwing out stats here, I did a little research myself, and during that game, 19,950 babies were born, 1,680,000 pieces of pizza were eaten, and 360,000 Teemos died.
That's a lot of pizza and a lot of Teemos. All right, taking a step back from that game, though, and looking at the bigger picture, Complexity are just one game out of a playoff spot. Now, they've responded to the increased pressure of expectations, and if you don't take them out early, they're going to challenge you late.
Yeah, this is the interesting thing about this team is they are 6-1 in games over 37 minutes long. That means they're 1-11 before that, to be fair, but this speaks to me that their in-game instincts are incredibly sound. You've got seasoned veterans like West Rice and probably in there who just sort of have played pro games that go this long. Scrims and pro games are actually very different, so it's hard to get exposure to games like this, and they just make the right choices like very late into the game.
The thing that stands out to me, though, is they're not really trying to go late here. I mean, they had an early game team, and they played well early. I mean, they controlled all 4 of the early dragons, and they got a nice lead. But they're so scared of this Rengar-Ori combo that they weren't able to finish it out, and it just kind of went late. But they do have an impressive record late.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
It's working out for them.
Absolutely. Now, up at the top of the standings, we have CLG and LMQ. Both had convincing wins yesterday, and they're the only two teams that have beaten every other team in the league. Now, the big question is, are they there to stay?
You know what? I think it's really hard to say that anyone is going to stay in the #1 spot right now just because it's so close. And specifically CLG, Link put out a very interesting blog recently about how, they know that they have problems and they're not exactly sure what to practice on in order to improve. And so that could be a scary thing for them.
Yeah, it's the weird thing about this split of the LCS. You've got like 7 teams that could legitimately take first place. Like, Complexity has a really good chance of making the playoffs. Curse could very well take first place by the end of it all and get that first round bye. I think LMQ and CLG specifically will make top 4, but I don't know who's going to be in that standing overall, though.
All right, well, one of those teams that could challenge them for the top slot, we got to talk about the 2-time defending champs. And they continue to experiment with their champion pool, and they look like they might be getting some of their swagger back.
Yeah, Cloud9 looks a heck of a lot better really recently. Now, you can't say for sure how good they are because EG is the weakest team in the league right now, so a lot of teams look really good against EG, to be fair. But if Cloud9 can actually keep the individual performances working, High played really well, the bottom lane is staying consistent, Balls is playing well finally. If this team can fix their sort of morale issues where they're so down on themselves for not being the best team anymore, they're going to keep going up, and they will be the best team again.
I think you do have to commend them for their individual performances, but really also look at how are they doing this. In their last 2 games, Cloud9 have come out with different strategies tailored to the new meta. He used Nunu twice, Meteos, in the jungle, which has helped them out a lot. I mean, having Balls on a damage-dealing top laner is much more in his comfort zone, and Meteos gets to do what he wants, control the vision, and also, with the state of AD carries right now being more important with the recent patches, Blood Boil is more important, and the Ice Blast for slowing down your enemy's AD carry. So all around, it looks like Cloud9 have done a good job incorporating some new strategies.
Absolutely. It looks like they might be returning to form. And now it's time, though, to check in with #LCS Big Plays to see what you've been talking about.
Yeah, first up, we have the longest game in the LCS history, the 81-minute end of the game between Curse and Complexity. At Mathis Lundell1 says, "Holy moly, Complexity front door. Xpeke, watch out. Here's your number 3.
Robert's going around the side. They're looking to end it. They could look to finish it. Do you see Robert? They got a Nexus turret to end the game. This is going to be a through the front door base race. They are trying to get this down. Oh my God! Robert goes for the shots. He's got a black shield to stay alive. He still has no summoners, actually. A few more. They win the game by going in through the front door.
What was really incredible about that was how close they actually came to losing that game. You saw the Nexus turn invulnerable from the inhibitor respawn that Westrice killed, and he was saying he didn't even know that he had to kill that to win the game. He's just like, I'm just going to hit an inhibitor because that's what I'm trained to do as a player.
That was my, oh my God.
Yeah.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
Might have been. Oh my gosh. Well, guys, from the same game, we have another one at the Uncanny Snail, the God ADC Cop. The kiting was so real. Here's your number 2.
Westrice has been able to slice and dice at least 3 times in this fight. It has gone so long. A great job by Kaz. Oh, Cobb flashes in! Cobb's still staying alive. One last shot. A few more for Westrice. The Acathian surprise, if nothing, will take him down. And Cobb is going to stay alive in the fight.
Cobb is firing this whole time. He flashes over the wall away from Kez. He relies on Quas to come in with the flash body slam for the kiting. And he just runs barely out of range.
I gotta say, my favorite part of that is the confidence to have to flash back into that fight and finish it off. Now, finally, we've got your favorite. From LMQ versus Dig, Ackerman hides in a bush. You like this one so much that we're gonna read several of your tweets while we watch this compelling action from your number 1. At Skippington writes, that's going to have to be the tamest, yet most ingenious LCS big play this season for Ackerman.
At Melt Othini says, the funniest thing I've ever seen in LCS, that top lane stealth Gragas. My day is made.
At Puppets AMA says, LMQ's Ackerman is the most patient drunk man I've ever seen. I guess you could say he really had them over a barrel. You could say he might have been there for a happy hour.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I can't. Okay, the second one I'll give you. I give you the second one. That's fine. All right. Well, don't be caught dozing yourselves, or you might miss more of those big moments in today's action. If you see something that leaves you speechless, though, share it with us at LOL Esports and use the hashtag LCS Big Plays. But if you're looking to rewatch the entire game and not just the highlights, head over to lolesports.com.
And click on the VODs tab to find a completely redesigned hub that's easy to use and allows you to quickly find all your favorite matches from the year. And spoiler alert, you can get your replays with or without spoilers.
Look at that. Anyway, turning to today's action, let's see how the table is set. In first, it's CLG and LMQ.
And then in third, it's Cloud9, Dignitas, and TSM, followed by Curse in 6th and Complexity in 7th.
And in 8th place, it's Evil Geniuses. We'll see which teams can make moves in our 4 games today, starting with Curse versus Evil Geniuses, followed by Dignitas facing off against Counterlogic Gaming.
And after that, Cloud9 will take to the Rift to battle TSM, and we'll conclude our LCS day with Complexity versus LMQ. But stick around for a best-of-3 quarterfinal between Team 8 and Zenith Esports in our North American Challenger Series coverage.
All right, then we want to jumpstart the conversation over on Twitter with our question of the day. We're asking you, which NALCS player do you like to see interviewed the most and why?
Right, send your thoughts to @LO Esports and use the hashtag LCS so that we can find your answers and read them later in the show.
All right, we're going to sneak away for a brief break, but when we return, it's on to the game, starting with Curse versus Evil Geniuses. Don't go anywhere.